Rivalries don't get much more intense than the one between Steph Curry and James Harden. So when two-time MVP and the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry, stepped onto the court for Game 7 of the 2018 Western Conference Finals against MVP James Harden's Rockets, the stage was set for something unforgettable. But no one could have predicted the shocking moment that left everyone in disbelief, Curry taking a direct hit to the head from Harden himself.
His first three of the evening. And an offensive foul.
What happened next didn't just change the game, it changed the course of basketball history. Stay tuned as we dive deep into one of the fiercest series in NBA history and reveal the aftermath of a moment that had people talking for years. On May 27, 2018, the Golden State Warriors, arguably one of the greatest teams ever assembled, were staring down elimination, trailing the Houston Rockets 3-2 in the Western Conference Finals. It's hard to overstate how we got to this point. Houston wasn't just any team. They were a 65-win juggernaut, led by MVP James Harden and Chris Paul. The Rockets had claimed the top seed in the West, cruising through the Timberwolves and Jazz, setting the stage for an explosive showdown with the defending champions. The Warriors, despite boasting the trio of Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Klay Thompson, had a bit of a rough regular season by their own high standards. For the first time in the Steve Kerr era, they didn't secure the #1 seed. But when Game 1 tipped off in Houston, the Warriors flipped the script and stole a win on the road, showing everyone that their championship DNA was still intact. However, the Rockets bounced back in Game 2 with a blowout win, making it clear they were the Warriors' biggest challenge yet. Then came Game 3 in Oakland, where Golden State crushed Houston by 40-plus points, leaving little hope for the Rockets. But Game 4 was a shocker. Houston went into Oakland and erased a 12-point deficit, pulling off a gritty, ugly win to even the series 2-2. Now the Rockets were riding high, and back in Houston for Game 5 nabbed another win to go up 3-2, but that win came at a price, as Chris Paul sustained a hamstring injury, leaving Houston vulnerable.
Guarded by Cook. Paul on the spin. Rebound three.
Nonetheless, in Game 6, without Chris Paul, the Rockets jumped out to a 17-point lead by the end of the first quarter, and it felt like the Warriors' reign was about to end. But then, the Splash Brothers turned the tide, combining for 64 points to keep Golden State alive and force a decisive Game 7. Now, Game 7s carry a different kind of intensity. It's winner-take-all with no second chances. Even without CP3, the Rockets were confident they could finish the job. Harden, ever determined, said, "Nothing changes for us. We know what we have to do." And they did. But for Golden State, all eyes were on Steph Curry. While Kevin Durant often stole the spotlight, it was Curry's shooting and off-ball movement that had transformed the Warriors into an offensive juggernaut. His ability to stretch defenses and open the floor for KD and Klay was the Warriors' secret weapon. So the question was simple: could Curry rise to the occasion and lead his team when it mattered most? From the start, it was obvious. The Warriors were off their game. Curry missed his first shot, and Golden State picked up 4 fouls in just over a minute. The Rockets had the momentum, but it was still a tight game, with both teams going back and forth early on. Then, just 4 minutes into the first quarter, came a moment that would change everything. The Rockets were pushing on offense, and as Curry moved to close down his man, he took a hard elbow to the head from James Harden. The refs called an offensive foul, but Steph was down, clutching his head, clearly feeling the impact of the hit. This was huge because everyone knew how vital Curry was to the Warriors' game plan and offense. But a shaken or limited Steph was exactly what Houston needed to take control and close the game out, and for the Warriors. Without him at full strength, their entire offense would struggle and wouldn't be the same. So the big question on everyone's mind was, could Curry shake off the hit and still lead the Warriors' comeback? After taking a hard elbow to the head from Harden, Curry wasn't himself, and the Warriors fell apart. The entire first quarter, Golden State looked completely out of sync. The Rockets, fueled by their home crowd, imposed their will on the Warriors, turning steals into easy points. Golden State, known for its movement, stood still, sloppy and slow to react. Houston jumped ahead, taking the first quarter 24-19, with Harden scoring 14 points on 4 for 6 shooting. Curry, still feeling the effects of the hit, even had to head to the locker room between the first and second quarter. He came back with 10 minutes left in the second quarter and returned to the game, but it still wasn't enough to get the Warriors going. Houston kept rolling, attacking with relentless energy. Their defense smothered Golden State, and the offense kept pushing. Harden dictated the offense as Capella dominated the paint, while PJ Tucker outmuscled everyone for loose balls as the Rockets ripped off a 12-2 run, capped by an insane Harden to Capella alley-oop that extended their lead to 36-23. Golden State, normally deadly from deep, just couldn't find their touch. They hit only 4 of 18 from three-point range, and the player everyone was counting on to turn things around, Steph Curry, was struggling. He went just 1 for 7 from the field in the first half. The Rockets controlled every aspect of the game, crashed the boards, securing nearly every loose ball and plugging up every passing lane. They had 11 offensive rebounds, leading to 9 second-chance points. They dominated points in the paint with a 30-14 edge and racked up 10 steals, leaving Curry, Durant, and Draymond Green looking outmatched and frustrated. By halftime, the Warriors were down by 11, trailing by as much as 15 during the second quarter. Nothing was working and it looked bleak. The Rockets were in complete control, and it seemed like Golden State's season was on the brink. You could almost hear fans talking about the Warriors booking their Cancun vacations. By the end of the first half, it looked like the Rockets were the hungrier team, and honestly, it seemed impossible for the Warriors to turn it around. But when the third quarter rolled around, it turned out the answer to Golden State's struggles was as simple as it was familiar. Just give the ball to Curry. Curry took command right away.
Back tap played by Curry with a high dribble.
And the Warriors kicked off the third quarter with a quick 10-4 run, narrowing the lead to 58-53. It was clear that he was the engine driving this team. As soon as he found his rhythm, the entire vibe on the court shifted. Durant loosened up, passing more, hitting his foul shots and diving for rebounds. The energy on the floor completely transformed. While the Rockets struggled to respond, they found themselves in the midst of a record stretch of missed three-pointers that had begun back in the second quarter. Their shooting didn't just go cold, it completely froze. On the flip side, Curry was on a tear as he went on a scoring spree, hitting 8 points in a row, including a jaw-dropping three-pointer that bounced high off the rim before dropping in to make it 72-63 with just over 2 minutes left in the quarter.
Three-point attempt. Curry.
After a rough 1 for 7 shooting in the first half, Curry erupted in the third like clockwork. He hit 4 three-pointers in that quarter alone, racking up 14 points and accounting for nearly half of Golden State's 33 points in the period. But it wasn't just about scoring. Curry was dictating the offense, opening up the floor, threading perfect passes, and slicing through the defense to create open looks for his teammates. His performance was nothing short of transformational. As the quarter went on, you could see the Rockets' spirit start to fade. The once energized Houston crowd, which had been shaking the rafters in the first half, grew increasingly quiet, but the job wasn't done yet. By the fourth quarter, Curry had completely taken command of the game. Even though the Rockets managed to inch back to within 6 points, their efforts were no match for the Warriors' firepower. Curry might have cooled off a bit, shooting-wise, but he was relentless in dictating the pace with unwavering confidence. His impact wasn't just about scoring, it was about asserting control. He commanded the floor, stretching the Houston defense and creating open looks for Durant and others to hit some critical shots.
40. Curry for 3. Yes.
The Warriors' motion offense was firing on all cylinders, thanks to Steph's shooting threat and ability to score off the dribble.
It's working. Capella's been 1 of 2 while they're scoring at the other end. Here's Durant, got the step.
He was always on the move, forcing his defenders to stay alert, which opened up opportunities for his teammates. His relentless movement kept the Rockets on their toes, and Curry made sure everyone knew he had the game in his hands. The Warriors ultimately cruised to a 101-92 victory, securing their spot in the 2018 NBA Finals. It was a perfect example of how his leadership and control were unstoppable forces that sealed the win. Though Houston really pushed Golden State to the edge in Game 7, but when the final buzzer sounded, the Warriors walked away with a 101-92 win, completing an incredible comeback from a 3-2 series deficit. It didn't hurt that the Rockets couldn't hit a three-pointer to save their lives, even when they were wide open. This is a team that thrives on long-range shots, but they ended up a brutal 7 for 44 from beyond the arc, with a staggering 27 missed attempts in a row. They only made one of their last 33-point tries. Good luck beating the best shooting team in the NBA, especially when that team has the greatest shooter of all time, Steph Curry. James Harden put up 32 points, but it wasn't enough for the Rockets to return to the finals for the first time since 1995. After the game, he summed it up saying, "We just didn't have that extra juice that we needed." Well, that extra juice was definitely coming from Curry, who turned up the heat in the third quarter and fueled yet another Warriors comeback. Curry was nothing short of amazing in a game where everything was on the line. He finished with 27 points, draining 7 threes, and he wasn't just a one-man show. He also dished out 10 assists, snagged 9 rebounds, and got 4 steals. His all-around performance was crucial, leading the Warriors back to the finals for the 4th straight year. From there, they went on to sweep LeBron and the Cavs, securing their 3rd title in 4 years. This Game 7 performance wasn't just another notch on Curry's belt. It was a defining moment in his career. He faced some early struggles and even took a hard hit to the head, but instead of crumbling, he rose to the occasion and reinforced his legacy as one of the most clutch players in NBA history. He has this incredible ability to ignite an offense, restoring the Warriors' identity and reminding everyone why they've been so successful over the past few years. When asked if this was the best he had ever felt, Steph responded with a confidence that only solidified his legendary status.
Personally? I feel like that, yeah. I feel like I continue to get better.
His leadership on the court, combined with that unmatched shooting, really lifted his team when they needed it most. With KD and Klay backing him up, Curry once again proved he could spearhead the charge to victory, even with the stakes sky high. His knack for leading, his insane shooting ability, and his calmness under pressure completely redefined what it means to be a point guard in the NBA. This game was yet another chapter in the incredible story of how Steph Curry has reshaped the modern game, leaving a lasting impact on an entire generation of players. But what do you think? Was this the highlight of the Warriors dynasty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay updated on more videos like this. Thanks for tuning in, and catch you in the next one.